When you are living your purpose, you feel like $1,000,000. It's not about you needing the Lamborghini. It's about you being happy with your Fiat Mini driving around because that's the car you really always wanted. So the idea of the 90210 is incorporated in what we do because we appreciate individuals on that level. You are an important gemstone. And so if you are an important gemstone, we want to bring out your potential. And that's what I help do, whether it is by writing a story about you, doing an interview with you in our magazine, or interviewing you on a podcast, or whether it is just by putting things together and helping you identify through our mentoring session, through 90210, what you really wish to do. So that's how it goes together. It's not about just the rich, absolutely not. But you're a gemstone, so let's have you shine.
Welcome to the age of reinvention. Redefine freedom, lifestyle, and purpose at midlife. I'm your host, Emily Braun, and today, prepare to be inspired as we welcome Dr. Natalie Forest, who embodies multiple reinventions and transformational leadership. Known for her unique methodology, the hidden power of patterns, Dr. Natalie is a visionary, historian, and advocate for authenticity and extraordinary success. From her pivotal roles within 90 to 110 Enterprise and the Los Angeles Tribune to hosting impactful workshops and podcasts, she is bridging the gaps between heart, mind, and purpose like no other. Her work transcends borders, fostering empowerment and innovation. Natalie's influence is felt globally through her mentorship, keynote speaking, best-selling books, and humanitarian efforts. Today, we will explore the wisdom and insights that have transformed countless lives with a guest whose journey calls us to embrace our boundless potential. Let's dive into this enlightening conversation with the remarkable Dr. Natalie Forest. Hello, dear Natalie. I'm happy to welcome you to my studio today.
Hello, and thank you. I was listening to you and I was waiting for somebody glamorous to come on the screen or something. It always sounds so different when you hear about yourself.
You're not the first person who confessed with me, but it's how I see you after learning a little bit about you, after researching the different bio and documents provided. And obviously, it's just intro, and we are real people in real life, and we have real life conversation. It is what I'm about. And actually, miracles, it's what real people do. I truly believe in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everyday miracles. The little things can blossom into big miracles. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I remember that you and I met a few years ago when I don't remember exactly through who, but I remember we met a few years ago and you were blossoming. Yeah, Ed. It was through Ed. Yes. Yes. And I love to see your journey as well and how you're now a successful podcaster and you're sharing inspirational stories. That's just awesome.
I'm trying to support and inspire others, and we will speak about it. Natalie, coming to you as my dear guest, You embraced the title of revolutionary rule breaker. Can you share what sparked this transformative journey for you? How did all this start?
Oh, okay. Let me look at the time. So, really, what I always want to point out to people is that this is not a title, a motto I came up with. It actually was when I started my mentoring journey. And I was on a podcast way back when we just did it via audio, not via video. And at the very end of a very nice conversation, all of a sudden, my hostess asked me, "So, do you consider yourself to be a revolutionary?" And I was stunned by that question because I had not seen myself as such. Those are the moments where people get to who you really are. And so while I was sitting there trying to figure out the answer, like a movie, I saw my life in front of me. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you could say that. And so she prompted it within me. And at that point, it was just revolutionary because a lot of people also see me as keeping some rules. But if you really look behind what I'm doing, it's I'm bending and I'm creating new rules and I'm breaking the status quo. So now I've actually just renamed my mentoring company. It is now just Dr. Natalie Forest Revolutionary Rule Breaker because that is what started it all. And I want to honor that.
Great start. Your work aims to foster authentic connections between heart and mind. How do you personally balance these two in your own life?
I can say I'm very blessed that way, to use that term. I think my two brain halves work very well. So, on the one hand, I really have the analytical mind because I'm a trained historian. Okay. So, I'm trained in analyzing everything. At the same time, and this may be my star sign, I don't know, I am a visionary. So, I can really switch on and off what I need. And in all of that, my guiding post, my guiding light is always the heart or the gut. If it doesn't feel right, I will analyze. But if it doesn't feel right, usually sooner or later, I will follow whatever my instinct was telling me. And that's being authentic. So I will not pretend to be someone I'm not. When I go on stage to speak, I might not wear what I'm wearing right now, my slippers, but it's still me. If you see me on the street, I will say the same things that I'm saying when I'm on the stage or when I'm with you. And so I think the more that you know yourself, the easier it is. And it's just balanced by whatever happens. I'm guided by the little things, somebody coming in smiling, or if I see somebody who's not smiling, I try to smile at them. I don't really have to think about it anymore. It's just automatic because I think you and I and most of your audience, we're here to motivate and inspire others to be the example.
So, intuition plays a significant role in your work as a mentor. How has your intuition guided your life path, and how do you teach others to tap into theirs?
Oh, that's a complex question. As I mentioned, I always listen to my intuition. That doesn't mean I act on it immediately, and usually that's to my detriment. I have to admit that. If I start analyzing, it's good because you don't just follow the intuition, which sometimes can be ego. But I think in the end, what I have learned is when I look at my intuition and I start analyzing a little bit and I take a look at have there been other signs that are similar? Have there been other times where I had the same feeling about this, the same intuition? Then I know I need to make a change. And I am a very loyal person, so it might take a little longer. In the end, though, what I do, what I teach my daughter, what I do with my mentees is really, it all goes back to you. Do you love and respect yourself? Do you know yourself? If those three are there, then whatever decision you make, even if it's long term not a good one or not the right one for that moment, you can live with it and you can withstand it. And it turns into a lesson you needed to learn. So the intuition really is to tune out the noise and just be with you. Everybody in the world has advice for you. Most people don't know who you are or what your desires are. So tune those people out. Say thank you for their advice and then sit with yourself. A cup of coffee, cup of tea, water, whatever. Go walk. We all do different things to be with ourselves, but that's when the answers come. And that's what I work on really for myself, everyday meditation with my daughter, with all my family members, and also with my mentees, of course. And it doesn't have to be meditation, but it has to be a moment where you are just with you. And that's where you can follow your intuition. Right? That's where you learn to reconnect with your intuition.
So, never in your life the decision you made based on intuition betrayed you or been incorrect? The decision, because sometimes we are tapping to unknown and uncertainty. It's what actually part of life lately.
My intuition, no. The analytical side, yes. So when I had a feeling, I'm thinking about one of my mentors that I had. The first feeling was good. And after a while, there was like starting to be a feeling of, something is off. Something is off. I don't know exactly what it is because I like her. We're doing lots of stuff together, but something is off. And then I started to analyze, saying, no, you're still young in the mentoring business. You still need a little bit of guidance. So I started to justify, analyze, and analytically, she was still being a good mentor. But then on the other side, it also started showing up personally what was going on. And so in that instance, my intuition was smack on. But the guidance from others, the advice from others who knew more than me, who were the experts, and my analysis because of all of that, that held me in that relationship longer than I needed to be. Yes, it's the analytics and the advice from others, not my intuition.
You often speak about the hidden power of patterns. Could you please elaborate on how you developed this methodology and actually what it is about?
I use the term patterns. Other people talk about behaviors. Other people talk about the subconscious mind. To me, it's the mind. What I'm really talking about is patterns or behaviors that we are not fully conscious about, that make and inform decisions in our daily life. So, for example, when I wake up in the morning, what is the first thing I do when I open the curtains? First of all, I'm already at the curtain. How did I get there? Okay. Number two, I'm opening the curtain. And now I see rain coming down. What am I saying? I've been trained to say, oh my God, it's raining. Now, what if I start looking at it differently and say, oh, it's raining. Great. The grass gets what it needs. We're going to have flowers. That's an easy example, okay, of patterns. And we need to be aware of them. We need to say, okay, when I wake up in the morning, what's the first thing I do before I find myself in front of the curtain or brushing my teeth? How did I get there? On a deeper level, it's the things that family, culture, society has taught us. It's not right or wrong, it just is. Okay. So, for example, me growing up in my parents' household, overhearing certain conversations. Years later, finding myself in front of my office window when I was still in the US, thinking, I can't believe it. Why am I not earning enough income with what I do? I know it's impactful. And from the back of my mind, I hear my mother's voice with a very important lesson. And the lesson that she taught my brother and I was, you don't need stuff. You don't need money. You can survive on very little, which is great because I don't need stuff. But because of that idea, I don't need a lot of money. I didn't ask for what I was worth. So that is a subconscious, unconscious, hidden pattern that we have. And we need to get to those things to really figure out, why are we where we are in our lives? And then we need to look at it and say, I want to keep this or I don't want to keep it. And then it's a choice, but we're conscious about it. I hope that helps.
Interesting, and I understand that we can speak about it, but I believe with next questions, I will understand more. Whole life transformation accelerator program focuses on holistic change. What was one profound transformation you have witnessed in your clients that deeply moved you? How it works in reality?
I think that's a pretty easy one because I can look at everyone I've ever worked with. The biggest transformation was for them to say something like, I'm a good person, and embracing themselves. Because most of them have, at one point or another, we've all had it, heard other things, or we just feel for some reason or another that we're not adequate, that we don't deserve this or we don't deserve that. We're always not good enough. I think a lot of people have that. And then to say, no, I am this. I am a good person, or I do love myself. I may have done stupid things, but I am okay with me. And I think those moments, especially because they usually go with this aha moment of release, crying or jumping up and down all of a sudden, it's this true release of, no, I am a good person. I do bring specific talents to this world. I am a needed individual on this planet. When that happens, all just because of recognizing of who they really are, that's it. That's the common theme. That's the common theme. Yeah.
Why do you think so many people concerned that they're good as a people, as professionals, as a parents? Sometimes, what's going on? By the way, conscious people thinking about it, concerned about it. Why we have this uncertainty of our legitimacy, our good doing every day?
So first, good is just a word for me. I usually try not to use good or bad, but it's the idea that we live in a world that is based on comparison. Okay? So my neighbor has 2 kids, I have 1 kid. How is she able to handle 2 kids? I can barely handle 1 kid. Or the neighbor saying, she didn't clean the yard again. Okay? It's all those other things. And it starts in school. It starts actually in kindergarten or pre-kindergarten. Okay? Where we're being compared with one another. Okay? So little Julie speaks more precisely than you, little Josephine. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, she speaks better. So it's ingrained in much of what society is showing us and enveloping us in. Therefore, since we're constantly bombarded with comparisons, which car should I buy? Where should I live? What house? And it's always about others, right? Others are doing better. In your and in my business, okay, which is the business of mentoring and trying to elevate people, okay? There are those that make $1 million who charge $500,000 for a weekend, yes? And then you see all the advertisements. I will show you how to do it. So it's the pressure of, oh my God, I'm not making $500,000 for a weekend. Oh my God, am I good enough? Why am I not having thousands of clients? Okay. It's on every level, from the little kid all the way up to where we are today. And if you are not okay with who you are, if you don't say, yes, Emily does great. I'm so happy for her that she is making $500,000 for that weekend. That's awesome. I live in lack if I say the opposite. But if I say what I just did, say, hey, congratulations, Emily, awesome job, then I'm okay with it because I understand we cannot be compared. But both podcasters, but you do your thing differently than I do my thing. You're a different type of mentor than I am. If I know someone who benefits from you, I'll send them to you because I believe there's enough for everyone and I know who I am and what my strengths are. But if you ask people randomly on the street or in a coaching workshop speaking, and you ask them, who are you? I am a mom. I'm a daughter. They will give you their name. I'm Natalie. I'm a daughter. I'm a mom. I'm a cat person. I'm this. Okay. The I. Who is the I? Are you really 20,000 things? So who are you in your heart? Who are you when there's nobody around? Because then you're not a mom. If your daughter is sleeping over someplace else, yeah, you're still a mom, but now you're like alone at home. So who are you? And most people don't know who they are, which is why, for example, when children, those people who have children, when children go off to college, a lot of marriages fall apart. Why is that? Because they didn't get to know each other. They don't know who they are outside the kids, outside the constant taking one kid here, taking the other kid there, making sure dinner's on the table, bills are paid. Each individual does not know who they are.
Oh, they changed. Oh, they changed over the years. We are all changing, reinventing, transforming.
Yes. But then in that relationship, you still need to talk to one another. And if the relationship is bad, sorry, you need to split when the relationship is bad and not wait until your kid is in college because then you're free. So they're like these things. Transformation happens, which is awesome. But communication is still our tool. So communication with myself, communication with my spouse, communication with whoever needs to understand that I am evolving. And through that communication, we can then say, I'm evolving. Are you okay with it? And if the other person says, no, I'm not, then we can say, thank you for being on my side as a friend, spouse, whatever, for all these years. I think I've learned enough from you and you've learned enough from me. And you move on with love because they are not where you are anymore. So your transformation involves also changing the people you surround yourself with.
Interesting concept. Oh, it's simple as you say, but in reality, there is so much drama around you and how hard the separation for many people and divorce, and it's hard on children, on people involved. And
Exactly what you just said. Yes. Sorry to interrupt, but exactly what you just said. We've got this image that separation is hard on the children, right? I just went through a divorce. Okay. Yes, it is hard on children. But what is harder? Having two unhappy people live together and you're in the mix? And one of your parents was never available anyhow? Or is it better to say, I'm with one of my parents who is now happy or happier, and I can see my other parent whenever I want, and they're going to be happy. So it's like, what is not what is better, but what serves the individual best. And it differs. For some people, it is staying together. Absolutely. We just need to make a conscious choice and explain it to everybody involved.
I wish I would have this conversation years ago when I was going through divorce and different observations. But you speak often about boundless potential. How do you recharge your energy to stay motivated and trustworthy to your purpose through these challenging times. And I'm speaking about challenging times in personal life, in what is going on around, because level of uncertainty, it's very huge. What do you do? Your recipes for yourself.
First of all, I believe that every individual is here for a reason. There are no mistakes. Okay? Whether I agree with that person or what they're doing, whether I agree on some kind of event or not, is a different story. But I believe that there is a reason why every individual is here. That means every individual has great potential, okay, to do good. They can also do not good. But I believe in the good of people, and the way that I see the world spiritually really has me working very hard every day on understanding that there is a reason why this is happening right now. There's a reason why this happened a few years ago. Maybe it's my historical background, that can be too. So I see that we're going through waves, patterns. Okay. Because of my historical understanding, there are certain things where I'm extremely calm. And because I myself meditate every day, at least once or twice, longer periods, or half an hour, not that long. Okay. I do spend time in nature. I do communicate with myself. I have 2 cats and a daughter. And the recharging happens when I see my daughter smile, when I can arrange something good for my daughter, when the cat comes up to me, when I'm in meditation and I get an idea, when one of my mentees says, "Oh, yes, I got it," or something like that, or when I can help a company go to the next level. So it's the little miracles in every day that I focus on. Whether it's one of our favorites in my house is when the sun is shining through and you see the rays of the sun coming through the clouds and you can see it, you can identify the ray of the sun. We just stand there and go, wow. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, I can go on. And there are times when I'm tired, okay? Because I live in Germany, obviously. My major business partners, they live in LA. That's a 9-hour time difference. So I have late meetings. And that means until midnight and so forth. And there are times where I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I need to go to bed. And it's related to what we're working on at that time. Because at other times when I'm putting together a big speaking event, I work until 2 o'clock, no questions asked. I don't, 2 a.m. I don't even have to think about it. I look at the clock, I'm, oh, it just happened last Saturday. So I think it has to do with whether we're on purpose and how we're creating our environment. I have crystals everywhere. I have pictures that when I look up, I can see that inspire me immediately. So my surrounding is like that, and I try to take care of myself as much as I can.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know that you have previously served in numerous leadership roles in different organizations. Currently, you are the president and vice president of media for 90 to 110 Enterprise, and you also host of this company podcast and editor-in-chief of 90 to 110 magazine. Like for me, when I learned actually what is 90 to 110 Enterprise, it was like hard to match all together with my understanding of who you are and what is the value you bring. No, you bring enormous value. I was just trying to match all together. So, first of all, please tell us about this enterprise, what is about ecosystem, its mission and programs, and if you can, about the leaders, because I heard about Ashkan Tabibnia, and I know Joseph McGuire, by the way, and but please explain me what is about and what is your role. Like I named the role, like how all come together.
Okay, that's a great question because I've been asked that before. So, first of all, in everything that I do, there's always a common thread. Okay. And because I have these two brain halves that work very well, I can switch what role I'm playing. 90210 Enterprise is the creation of a community of change makers. Okay. It's not just entrepreneurs, it's not just leaders of organizations or what have you. It is truly a community of like minded individuals. And we have real relationships. Now, it is called 90210 because that is actually the zip code for Beverly Hills. Okay. Beverly Hills, California. And that goes with glamour, success, all of those stereotypes. Okay. What we are creating is an ecosystem where you are connected through us identifying who's good for you from our vast network. So you mentioned Ashkan Tabibnia. He's the visionary of this enterprise, of this community. He has about 20,000 relationships. And relationships, not likes on LinkedIn or Facebook, relationships. We have relationships with over 200 organizations and companies. So if somebody comes to us, we have 12 areas in which we can support them. Okay. If you are looking to buy a home, we have a real estate vertical. Okay. So we have trusted people that can help you find a home or sell a home. Okay. We also have production or events. And this is where we put on events for our members, many of whom are entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches. We put on events for our members and to share our message. And those are events or productions, and they go live or they go so in live, in person, or virtual. We just had Black History Month. At the end of this month, we're going to have a small event just celebrating women. Okay. Those are our events where we can highlight and add to the biography of our members. Because if you're speaking in an internationally acclaimed environment, you know how that works, then you are now an international speaker. You're a speaker. So that is something else. We, of course, do have our coaching where we work with you to really find out, why are you here? Because a lot of our members, they want to live, they want to do good, but they don't necessarily are living their legacy right now. And we don't have to wait until the tombstone is there and then, oh, he was known for. No, let's live it now. So we are helping you, especially Ashkan, because he has a very specific process. It's called the trifecta mastermind. He identifies some things. And then I come in and I add the heart and the inspiration and the intuition to it. And we get out of our members what serves them. And then we support them in getting there. Whether it's writing a book, speaking at events, buying or selling home, putting up their nonprofit foundation, making sure that legally their business is stable. Because there are a lot of things that are not. So that's what we're doing there. And how does that fit with who I am? Number one, I get to mentor, I get to coach. And my organizational side is helping putting everything together so that it serves humanity well. And that's when I bring in, as do all of our other amazing C-level members, then we bring in other companies, other partners, other people that can, in addition, support what we're doing. It's a lot. Don't get me wrong. We have 12 verticals. It's a lot. Yes.